Chapter 2, Rizal's Life, Influences. One of the most crucial aspects of Jose Rizal's intellectual growth was his exposure to different cultures, ideologies, and intellectual circles during his time in Europe. This period not only deepened his understanding of political and social theories but also solidified his vision for Philippine reform. Una sa lahat, nagdesisyon si Rizal na mag-aral sa Europa without informing his parents. In 1882, at the age of 21, Jose Rizal made a bold decision to leave the Philippines and pursue higher education in Europe. This decision was not made lightly, as it meant leaving behind his family, friends, and most heartbreakingly, his childhood sweetheart, Leonor Rivera. Now, ano ba yung mga iba't ibang mga reasons kung bakit yun, umalis si Rizal, no, sa Pilipinas? Number one, Rizal was frustrated with the racial discrimination at sa outdated educational system na nakita niya sa University of Santo Tomas, no? As an Indio, sabi niya, he experienced prejudice from both his professors and Spanish classmates. Second, his brother, Pasiano Rizal, greatly influenced his decision. Binigyan ng secret mission actually ni Pasiano si Rizal. Yung secret mission na ito, mag-aral ka sa ibang bansa at ano ba yung mga pwede mong matutunan dyan sa Europa na pwede mong maibalik at maikalat dito sa Pilipinas. Pasiano recognized that Rizal needed to study in a freer intellectual environment to fulfill his potential. Nakita kasi ni Pasiano na malilimit ng pag-stay na sa Pilipinas yung potential ni Rizal. Pangatlo, the execution of Gumburza in 1872 remained fresh in his mind, and Rizal sought to understand the broader principles of justice and nationalism that could be applied to the Philippines. Of course, ang isang challenge dito ay hindi agad sinabi ni Rizal, no, sa kanyang mga parents yung kanyang pag-alis. Kasi alam niya na si Teodora Alonso ay magiging opposed sa decision na ito. No? Alam kasi ni Teodora na nagiging matalino na si Rizal. At sa experience mismo ni Teodora, nakakatakot maging matalino, nakakatakot maging isang matalinong Indio, no, dito sa Pilipinas, no. According sa notes natin sa Module 6, Rizal's departure marked a turning point in his intellectual development as it freed him from the restrictive colonial environment and allowed him to immerse himself in liberal and modern ideas in Europe. Once in Europe, Rizal quickly adapted to his new surroundings. His travels took him across Spain, France, Germany, Belgium, and the United Kingdom, where he encountered a variety of cultures, political systems, and philosophical movements. Ano ba yung mga key influences ni Rizal habang siya ay nasa Europa? No? Ano ba ito mga to? Of course, we could say liberalism and democracy. In Spain, where he studied medicine at the Universidad Central de Madrid, ulitin natin, Universidad Central de Madrid, nakita niya yung political instability, no, na nangyayari sa Espanya. This led him to debates on democracy and governance. In France, he admired the legacy of the French Revolution back in 1789 and the ideals of liberty, equality, fraternity, or in English, liberty, equality, and fraternity. No? While in London, Rizal studied at the British Museum. Dito niya nabasa yung mga iba't ibang historical accounts ng pre-colonial Philippines. At dito, napagtanto niya na ang bansang Pilipinas ay mayroong distinct identity bago pa ito masakop ng mga Espanyol. Kasi, di ba, sinabi ng mga Espanyol, mga natives kayo, wala kayong alam, no? Pero base sa pag-aaral at pagsusuri ni Rizal sa British Museum, nakita niya may kultura ang Pilipinas bago pa man ito nasakop ng mga Espanyol. Number 2, scientific and rational thought. In Germany, he was deeply influenced by Dr. Rudolf Virchow. A leader in anthropology and pathology. Rizal attended his lectures and even delivered a paper to the Berlin Anthropological Society. While in Austria, he developed a friendship with Ferdinand Blumentritt, a renowned scholar of Philippine culture and history. And 3, economic and industrial development. In Germany, he witnessed the rapid industrialization and economic progress, making him realize na sobrang napag-iiwanan ang Pilipinas under Spanish rule. Pag kinakaya naman ng ibang bansa, no? Bakit hindi kaya ng Pilipinas na nasa rule pa mismo ng isang world power tulad ng Spanya? And in Belgium and the Netherlands, he observed thriving trade and agriculture, fueling his belief that economic reforms were essential for Philippine progress. Ano ba yung mga iba't ibang philosophies na nag-influence din kay Rizal? No? Number 1, mga Enlightenment thinkers. He studied the works of Voltaire, Rousseau, and John Locke. Hindi na natin masyadong magdo-dwell dito, no? Kasi I know that na-discuss na dapat ito sa Understanding the Self na kinuha ninyo last semester. Nung last year, nung first years kayo, no? So Voltaire, Rousseau, and John Locke, no? Ini-emphasize nila yung reason, no? Individual rights, and the need for governmental reforms. These ideas reinforce his belief that the Philippines needed an educated and empowered citizenry, no? Educated and empowered citizenry, no? Educated at empowered na citizenry. Number 2, nationalism and self-determination. Noong nasa Europa si Rizal, nakita na yung unification movements ng Italy, led by Giuseppe Manizzi, at sa Germany, led by Otto von Bismarck. Italy and Germany showed him that a strong national identity could lead to independence. Rizal believed that Filipinos must first develop national consciousness before fighting for independence. Kasi during the time, fractured kasi ang Pilipinas, no? Meron tayong mga Ilocano, meron tayong Pangasinense, Cebuano, no? Mga taga Baguio, taga Visayas, taga Mindanao. Hindi dapat. Sabi ni Rizal, kahit saang rehiyon ka dapat ay nasa puso mo yung pagiging Pilipino. Kahit ang mga magulang mo ay Chinese, mga Mestizo, or even kahit mga Espanyol, no? Basta nasa Pilipinas ka, dapat sinasa puso mo ang bansang Pilipinas. Yun ang kanyang kaisipan patungkol dito. And dito tayo sa the role of religion in society. In Spain, in the Philippines, the Catholic Church was deeply intertwined with governance. They control education, land, and political institutions. Ang mga pare, silang nag-ooperate ng mga schools. Silang nag-influence ng government policies. At yun nga, kasamaang palad, they often mistreat Filipinos. They reinforced the perception that religion was being used to maintain an unjust hierarchy. Rizal, like many ilustrados, educated Filipinos, saw this system as hindering progress. Because number 1, education under the priest emphasizes on rote memorization and religious indoctrination rather than critical thinking and scientific inquiry, no? Sadly, nakita pa rin natin ito ngayon. Pag-usapan nga natin yung Big Bang pag-usapan nga natin yung evolution sa mga diocesan schools, medyo magkakaroon tayo ng problema. Correct? Yun nga. Ito. Isang topic na napaka-latest, no? Pag-usapan nga natin safe sex. No? Pag-usapan natin paggamit ng condom, paggamit ng iba't ibang mga pills, no? IUD, etc., no? Yun nga, ito yung mga topic na medyo ikakalagay natin sa mga baka may sulat na tayo mula sa eskwelahan, no? Pinapa-explain tayo kung bakit natin pinapadala ng condom ang mga estudyante, no? Anyway, at hindi lang dahil dito, no? The church land ownership lead to disputes, no? Such as yung Calamba agrarian conflict, kung saan na-persecute yung pamilya ng Rizal. And of course, yung mga pare ng mga Pilipino, nadidiscriminate sila, no? Example dito yung nangyari sa Gumburza noong 1872. However, when Rizal lived in Germany, UK, and sa other Protestant majority nations, he saw a very different relationship between religion and society. One that emphasized education, scientific progress, and individual morality rather than control and coercion. No? Nakita ni Rizal sa mga Protestant nations, no, lalo na sa Germany, na nagkaroon ng emphasis sa education, where universities encourage freedom of thought rather than religious dogma. He observed that clergy members were also scholars, engaging in historical and scientific research, unlike the anti-intellectualism na nakita na sa mga pare sa Pilipinas. The Protestant Church in Germany was not politically dominant, meaning it could not dictate government policies in the same way that the Catholic Church did in Spain and in the Philippines. Nakita din ni Rizal sa United Kingdom na ang religion ay ginagamit na moral guide at hindi bilang political force. No? In London, Rizal was exposed to Anglicanism, which, while sabihin natin na isa siyang state religion, it did not exercise the same level of control over everyday life as the Spanish friars did in the Philippines. He admired how Protestant churches place a greater emphasis on social responsibility and personal faith rather than yung pagsunod sa institution, ng institutional dominance, no? He saw that religious leaders in Britain engaged in charity work and education but did not interfere in politics, no? Tulad ng nakita niya sa mga Spanish colonies, no? Rizal noted that Protestant majority societies were often more progressive and industrialized. Malaking pagkakaiba ito sa backward at napaka-superstitious na environment na nakita niya sa Pilipinas, where the church resisted modernization to maintain its grip on the people. Sir, nangyayari lang yan noon, hindi na ngayon. I don't know, pero paki-explain nga sa akin kung bakit bawal pa rin ang divorce sa Pilipinas, pero all the rest of the world, halos all countries sa mundo maliban sa Vatican ay legal na ang divorce, no? So, paki-explain sa akin kung bakit ang usapin sa sex ay pwedeng pag-usapan na may intellectual discourse sa ibang bansa, pero dito sa Pilipinas ay hindi natin magawa yan, no? So, nangyayari pa rin yan, no? Anyway, in Protestant countries, scientific advancements were not seen as threats to religious authority, whereas in Spanish-controlled territories, ideas that challenge church doctrine were censored or suppressed. Kung susumahin natin, no, yung mga alam natin tungkol kay Rizal, no, Rizal did not reject religion itself. No? He remained a believer in God and morality. In fact, 'di ba? Muntikan siyang nagpakasal sa France, no? Pero one of the conditions sa pagpapakasal niya is magpalit siya ng religion from Roman Catholic to Protestantism and pagiging Protestant. At dito, hindi pumayag si Rizal. Namuhay siya na Romano Katoliko, mamamatay daw siya na Romano Katoliko. So mahal ni Rizal ang pagiging Romano Katoliko. He saw how religion, kung paano yung epekto niya sa society. His experiences in Germany and the UK reinforce his belief that religion should uplift people through education and progress, not through fear and oppression. Thus, instead of attacking Christianity as a whole, Rizal's criticisms were directed at how the Spanish friars abuse their religious authority. No? Tulad sa panahon natin ngayon, no? Tama naman ang mensahe. No? The good news is always good. But sometimes there are some people na dinedesecrate ang mensahe. They twist it on their own biases. They twist it on their own, sa kanilang mga kagustuhan. Rizal envisioned a Philippines where education, reason, and national identity could flourish, free from the oppressive influence of the friars. According to the trivia according to a study by the Berlin Ethnological Society, Rizal was one of the first Filipinos to analyze pre-colonial Philippine history using Western historical methods. At dito, challenge niya yung Spanish narrative na ang mga Pilipino uncivilized before colonization. Ayon ito sa isang study na ginawa ng Berlin Anthropological Society. Now, moving on, hindi din naman ang mga influences ni Rizal, hindi lang naman sa institutions, sa philosophies, etc. Malaking bagay din yung friendships at collaborations na nakuha niya sa iba't ibang mga tao. Una na dito si Ferdinand Blumentritt sa Austria. Blumentritt was an Austrian historian and ethnologist who became one of Rizal's closest friends and intellectual allies. He provided Rizal with academic references for his writings and supported the idea of Philippine self-governance. Their correspondence reflected their mutual respect, with Blumentritt recognizing Rizal as the genius of the Malay race. And of course, we have here Rudolf Virchow from Germany. Virchow introduced Rizal to scientific thinking and anthropology, deepening his interest in Philippine history and ethnography. His involvement in the Berlin Anthropological Society further validated his research tungkol sa history ng pre-colonial Philippines, sa identity natin. And of course, habang nasa Spain at France, si Rizal, nakilala na dito si Juan Luna at si Felix Resurrección Hidalgo. Both were Filipino painters in Europe whose artworks, tulad ng Spolarium, they symbolize Spanish abuses in the Philippines. Their artistic and intellectual circles in Madrid allowed Rizal to refine his nationalist ideals. And of course, sa Espanya mismo, nakilala niya si Marcelo H. del Pilar at si Graciano Lopez Haina. These two were key figures in the propaganda movement which sought reforms through legal and journalistic means. Together, they contributed to La Solidaridad, a newspaper that called for Filipino rights and representation in the Spanish Cortes. According to a report from the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, Rizal's friendships with European intellectuals gave him credibility and global platform to challenge Spain's rule over the Philippines. So, ano ngayon? Just as Rizal gained new perspectives through travel and education, Filipinos working abroad, or kahit kahit nag-aaral ka, it can bring back valuable insights to improve the Philippines. His embrace of rational thought, democracy, and nationalism serves as a reminder that education remains the key to national progress. Rizal's collaborations with foreign scholars highlight the importance of global networks and alliances in advocating for social change. In today's Philippines, ang kabataang Pilipino, maraming matututunan sa experiences ni Rizal by being critical thinkers, sa pag-embrace ng diverse ideas, at ang paggamit ng mga knowledge na ito na makakatulong sa national development.